This audio program by Radio AI is generated using artificial intelligence technologies. The voices you hear in this program are synthetic, and the thoughts they express are shaped through artificial intelligence-driven reasoning and iterative refinement.
Welcome to Radio AI's The Deep Dive. Today we're plunging into a question many of us grapple with. Is it actually better to work in a team, or are we better off going solo?
It's a great question, and it's definitely not a simple yes or no, is it?
Not at all. It seems like this whole complex spectrum influenced by, well, who you are, the culture you're in, and crucially, what you're trying to do.
Exactly. So our mission today is really to unpack that. We want to explore where these different approaches truly shine and, how to manage them effectively for, getting things done right.
Okay, let's start with collaboration then, the power of the team. What makes teamwork really effective?
Well, there are some solid frameworks that help explain this, like Tuckman stages: forming, storming, norming, performing.
Oh, yeah, I remember those. It shows it's a process, right? Not instant.
Precisely. It evolves. You have that initial forming, then the storming where, conflicts might bubble up.
Always fun.
Huh? Well, necessary sometimes. Then norming, where the rules kind of get set, and finally performing. You have to actually cultivate that. And then there's Belbin's team roles, too.
Right, the idea that you need different types of people.
Yeah, exactly. Diverse complementary skills. Not just a room full of, say, leaders. You need the shaper driving things, maybe the plants sparking ideas. A whole mix.
That makes intuitive sense. But what about the hard evidence? What does the research actually show?
The data is pretty interesting. Studies consistently find that good teams with clear roles, good feedback, really strong psychological safety.
That feeling of safety to speak up.
Yes, exactly that. And diverse skills, of course. Those teams can outperform individuals or less structured groups by, quite a bit, sometimes 30-40% on complex problem solving.
Wow, 30-40%, that's significant.
It is, and this is a big but, there are pitfalls. Things like groupthink, where everyone just agrees.
Yeah, stifles real innovation.
Totally. Or miscommunication, difficult power dynamics, even biases we don't realize we have. So fostering that psychological safety becomes absolutely crucial to avoid those traps.
Okay. So teams can be powerful, but need careful handling. Let's flip the coin. What about working alone? That focus, that autonomy. What's special there?
Solo work definitely has its strengths. It's really well documented for fostering deep creative thinking, that kind of synthesis, especially for tasks needing real niche expertise.
Like getting into that flow state.
Exactly. Research on flow often points to solitude as a key ingredient for hitting that zone, for generating truly original insights. And, personality matters too.
How so?
Well, think introverts versus extroverts. Introverts might find they recharge and do their best deep thinking alone, whereas extroverts often get their energy, their buzz, from interacting with others.
Makes sense. But working alone, isn't there a risk of getting stuck in your own head, missing things?
Absolutely. That's the potential downside. Without that external sounding board, you're definitely more susceptible to cognitive biases.
Like what specifically?
Things like blind spots, just not seeing an obvious error, or a confirmation bias, where you unconsciously look for information that just backs up what you already think. Errors can go unchecked for longer.
So how do you counter that if you're working alone?
Structure is key. Building in mechanisms for feedback, even if it's solo work. Maybe periodic reviews with a trusted colleague, or even just really rigorous self-reflection protocols, asking yourself the hard questions, basically.
Right, being intentional about checking your own thinking. Now, so many jobs today aren't strictly one or the other, are they? It's often a mix, especially with remote and hybrid work. How are companies handling this blend?
Yeah. The lines are definitely blurring. Hybrid models, distributed teams, it's the norm now in many places. And technology, especially AI, is playing a huge role in reshaping things.
How is AI changing the game for both sides?
Well, for solo workers, AI can automate some of the more routine tasks, freeing up headspace for that deeper creative work. For teams, AI can help with scheduling across time zones, facilitating communication, maybe even suggesting how to build a better balanced team for a specific project.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Imagine launching a new product. It might start with some solo brainstorming, deep concept work, then shift to a cross-functional team, perhaps using something like a RACI matrix.
Responsible, accountable, consulted, informed, that framework.
Exactly that, clarifying who does what. Then maybe the team works remotely, using AI-powered project management tools to stay aligned. The key is managing those transitions between modes intentionally. Clear communication, debriefs, that builds resilience.
And skills learned in one mode can help in the other.
Definitely. The self-discipline you hone working alone, that's incredibly valuable in a team setting too. It's all transferable.
Okay, so as we wrap this up, if you had to distill it down, what's the big takeaway from this whole team versus solo debate?
I think the biggest thing is there's no single best way. It's not about picking a side. The real skill is developing the discernment, the judgment to match the work structure to the task, the context, and importantly, the people involved. It's always evaluating, always adapting.
So the question for you, our listener, really becomes, how can you best blend that individual focus with collective energy? How do you leverage both to be more effective, maybe even happier in your own work, recognizing it's this constant dance between working alone and working together?
It's worth reflecting on, definitely, thinking about your own experiences and where that balance lies for you.
Thank you for joining us on Radio AI for this deep dive. We always appreciate your time and attention. Feel free to share your thoughts or reflections in the comments below. Hope to have you with us again on Radio AI. Until next time.